What's going on, guys? It is the wolf, he himself without the fur, less shaved. Your favorite non-belligerent, non-combatant treaty with the United States Corporation, Lord of Lovitica, keeper of the knowledge, Badwolf. What's going on, guys? It's been some time. My cousin A6, or Mr. A6 Grind Time, hit me up today. And he's like, where you been? We haven't seen you on doing the thing. And I was like, yeah, I've just been taking care of some home stuff, home life, that has to come first. And health, lost some weight. I've been trying to work out a little bit more, trying to get my sexy on, of course, or keep it. But that being the case, we're back into Right to Travel. As always, I will bring you guys information as we know. So this is one of the things that will help people out there in Right to Travel. Now, I know I mentioned this in another video, but I noticed after checking my videos, I do not have a specific video dedicated just to this particular segment. So without further ado, well, maybe one more ado, this particular video is going to be about, and we're going to pick on Wisconsin here, exemption of non-residents and foreign registered vehicles. So this is a very, very, very important video, guys. As always, hit that bell, like, subscribe. You guys know the deal. Thank you for those people who have been sending money through my donation page on Black Site 32. And for those people who want to find me on all the media outlets to make sure it's really me, Black Site 32, and check out the social media page. As always, guys, I will never be in your DMs. I will never be in your inboxes. I do not have the time. I barely have time to check my own emails and whatever else as it is. So I will never be asking you guys for money or whatever else. So please don't be getting scammed out here by these people. Even if you're in one of my groups, I probably will not reach out to you first unless there's something of a concern. I will always talk openly in the chats. So unless you guys hit me up first, and even then, I may not answer because I'm just too busy learning all of this stuff, and there's so much, which is why I've been trying to have a balanced work-life thing going on and been relaxing from so many consultations and answering emails. Nothing serious, of course. I just need time for me. I can't always be the robot and the wolf. All right, it's just in me. So, without further ado, let's get to Right to Travel. If this is your first time here, you guys already should know to support any kind of ways that you guys can. And if you see anybody using any of my materials or images or likenesses in any kind of negative, disrespectful, or defamatory way, which is a suable offense, by the way, make sure that you guys use the report for bullying, slander, and all the other stuff on there. Thank you in advance. All we talk about here is the truth. You don't necessarily have to like it, but review the information for yourself and make your own determination. Whether you're using my information or somebody else's, always vet the information for yourselves. Okay. Thank you to all the people out there who are colleagues in the industry who have mentioned me on their channels. I'm hearing from all the people out there. Thank you for keeping it real and saying, hey, yeah, this is the guy I got the information from. That does not mean that the person who's then using it themselves and made mention of me that they don't know what they're talking about. That just means that they are a person who understands the information and they want to share it. And they're doing the one thing that the system and some of these gurus apparently don't understand or that they don't like, which is that we need to work together to bring out the truth of this information, not fight amongst ourselves, argue amongst guru whose knowledge is better. I'm going to hoard all the information just for me. I'm not going to say where I got it from. So it's all those people out there who keep it real and support the wolf, whether I see you or not. Thank you personally from me to you. All right. So the updates to Right to Travel, this is going to be a very hot video, is that if you should have canceled if you're going to do Right to Travel, remember, this channel is not for the U.S. citizen. This is for somebody who is operating in the private sector. Okay? As a non-resident, private citizen, national state citizen, operating under the Constitution for the United States of America. Not for U.S. citizens. Not that you guys can't learn and watch. I mean, hell, the agents and agencies out there watch my videos and share them. And yes, I do know. Because there are people who give me information from all over the place, and it's cool. Like I said, we've got nothing to hide here. Matter of fact, some of them, including police officers and other agents, whatever else, have contacted me asking me about the information. So it's just that some people don't know what's going on. And you know what? One thing about I will give to the, especially to the good police officers and good sheriffs and commanding officers and chief of police out there, is that they don't like to be fooled either. They want to know their true options as an American. And if you're a real American, you should know that this is the superior law other than God's law and the Supreme Court. And the private sector is a real thing. It is the opposite of the public. So now I digress. So if you're going to do Right to Travel, watch the other videos I have. Make sure you check out the live and understand that you should use my main channel as a library or a database, excuse me, for information, because not all of it's just going to pop up. So hit the view all videos or full video library playlist or tab. If you get all the way down to the bottom, hit the view more videos so you can see all of them. You can also search within just my videos if you want. I do recommend looking at other people's videos and other people's channels. Compare the information, find your way. It's not just my way or their way, it's our way, okay? And lastly, just a bit of inspiration before I get back into the information is if you guys have any grievances with your family, let it go. Just let it go. You don't have to go and kiss their butt or show up on the door and apologize. Just let go of the hate and the animosity, whatever else. That's what the system feeds on, okay? So let that all go, and you're going to find that your life will improve dramatically, okay? Just let the anger go. Let that go, man. Let people be bitter, because they want you to participate. They want you to feel the way they feel. And I would prefer for them to feel the way I feel, which is relieved and let go of all that animosity and hate, okay? All right, so if you watch the other videos, understand that you should use the correct form if they have it. If they do not have it, make your own and notarize it and have 2 copies, one for you and one to give to them. But call them, contact them, go on their website, go in there, ask them for the surrender of the driver's license. Is there a proper form? Is it called in the exemption? Whatever it's called, use it. Then give them back the ID. If there's a way you can record that with your phone or whatever, get that too. Get everything you can. For the vehicle, some states do not like to remove and close out your information. So even though you might have sent your affidavit to them, do not trust that, as many people have now discovered. So what you have to do is you create a private foreign trust. Do not use the zip code on your trust. Put USA or your own micronation or your government or whatever you have or started. You got family out in another country, use their address, whatever you got to do. Make it private and foreign. Then you're going to transfer that vehicle into that trust, and you're going to update the DMV. Go on their website, transfer the vehicle on there legally into the trust, so it's out of your legal name. You can also go into the DMV and tell them exactly what you want to have done. They'll give you the paperwork. They'll file and stamp it. Always get copies. Always get a picture or recording of it as well if you can. If they freak out, then just take the paper copies, call it a day. Once you've done that, all of that information and all that should be in your travel binder in case you're bothered on the side of the road. Now, as I'm going to show you, this is where the rubber meets the road for what we're doing. This is going to blow the whole thing out of the water. Now, one of the things that I also did, you know what, let's Wolf jump into it. Let's go. You're right. Let's go. No more talking. Well, maybe some talking. All right, so we're going to mess with Wisconsin here. And as always, it doesn't matter. I look at all states' information, so this is one of the ones that I found. You can go to your, matter of fact, I recommend, if you're in Wisconsin, then the work is done for you. But if you're not, go to your state's legislative website, and you're going to want to look up this particular information. So let's go. All right, so here you can see that I searched for Wisconsin State Legislature. Okay. Over here is their search box where you can look for certain things. So in the search box, everybody wants to look for right to travel. They are not going to call it right to travel. This is why I tell people you have to use their terminology. If you don't know their terminology, look at the basics of it. If what we're doing is not considered that to be in their jurisdiction, they don't like it, it's weird, it's foreign, we'll use those words. Okay, so we know the words private, we know the words foreign, we know the word resident, non-resident. So that's where you're going to start to look up. So in my searches, I looked up foreign vehicles. When I searched foreign vehicles up here, this is what came up. This is huge, guys. This should be in your binder, but primarily for your state, because that's probably where you're going to be. All right. I'm usually in either Florida or Arkansas, Wisconsin, Illinois. So I bob between those areas. And so whichever one I get, or somebody says, hey, I'm in this state, I'll look it up there. So this one just happens to be in Wisconsin. So their particular code is called 341.40, exemption of non-residents and foreign registered vehicles. Now, when you look at this, you're going to see the word non-residents. Remember, your legal person is a resident. You, the living private person, are not. But what I went ahead and did is I created an affidavit and specifically said that I'm a non-resident of my particular state. And so I put that in my travel binder, along with a printout of this code. Foreign registered vehicle, this is where we created our trust. Your trust is foreign, however you or private, however you have it set up. You can even mention it directly, foreign registered vehicles in your trust. You can use the whole code. Make a copy of this and put it in your trust. Find a section, put it in there, especially if it's a vehicle trust. You should have one trust for your vehicle, one for your house, one for your property, your assets, your bank accounts, and never, ever, ever use your legal name to name the trust. Not your last name by itself. Like, yes, I use Lovitica, but Lovitica is not the same exact word as Lovett. Okay? Otherwise, you're putting it right underneath the legal person, and then it's back underneath the state and in the public, and it's a resident. So let's see what it says here. Except as to foreign-owned vehicles required by section 341.07. So you should go and then look at this statute just to make sure you're doing everything right. I already have done it, so I don't need to check it out. So to be registered in this state. So there are some foreign vehicles that need to be registered. Most likely commercial, hazardous material, tanks, Batmobile. No, actually, I think that's private, so never mind. All right. Any vehicle that is registered in another jurisdiction. Now, sometimes this might say the word state. State just means an entity, a jurisdiction, country, nation, tribe, whatever. Foreign, private to them. Any vehicle that is registered in another jurisdiction is exempt from the laws of this particular state. You're exempt. Now, this does not, for the love of God, because I already know people are going to email me, this does not mean you are above the law. This does not mean you can speed. This does not mean you can go and showboat and do creating donuts and crazy stuff. What this saying is that you don't have to pay taxes on your vehicle. This is saying that under normal circumstances, as long as you're not endangering yourself or public safety, you can operate private. You can use the roads. We can't tell you you can't. You don't have to have insurance, though you should. Providing for the registration of the vehicle if all of the following applies. So as we see here, the next code starts at 341.405. So this is the next part. So we only have to worry about what's in here, and we must be in compliance with the state. So let's see what we need to do. The vehicle carries a registration plate, meaning your license plate, indicating the registration in the other jurisdiction. So the top of your plate must have the name of the trust. So choose the name of the trust accordingly or properly and display it on the top. Now, do we have to do all this, Wolf? No. But if you don't want to be bothered and you still want to be private, then you give the baby their bottle. Constitution says we don't have to do this, but if you're going to be in the sandbox, meaning in the area with the same people, get along. Okay? This is mine. This is where my vehicle is registered. So now you can see that though we were on the right path, we didn't have the right things in place. Though, even though back in the day, this still would have been okay, but my vehicle had no paperwork to match this jurisdiction here, which is what the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights and all that good jazz. So we're in the Republic, but I had no paperwork to prove it. Though, yes, we are in the private, but I don't have a trust called this. But the United States of America is, in fact, a trust. So I am, but they need to see the paperwork. The pen is, in fact, mightier than the sword. So put the name of the trust. That's why all these people out here with private PR 1V4TE or private on there. You don't have your vehicle actually registered into something. Now, yes, once again, the Constitution, all that says we don't have to do the Supreme Court already ruled on that, but Supreme Court ain't gonna be on the side of the road when the officer wants to see some paperwork to let you go or leave you alone or not bother you in the first place. Have the paperwork, get it notarized, get your foreign trust done, take that name and put it on the top of your plate. Update the DMV that your vehicle has been sold to a private trust or a foreign trust. Right? Makes sense when you hear it. This is all they've been asking us since day one, guys. But the problem is they're not going to tell us how to do that. Because if you are this private person, well, then you need to figure that out privately. They deal with the public. Okay? So let's get back over there. So the vehicle carries a registration plate indicating the registration in the other jurisdiction. Well, we satisfied that. B, the vehicle is owned by a non-resident. Okay. Well, my trust, being private and foreign, is a non-resident. They could also then construe that to mean that the living person, me. So not only have I made my own ID with the trust name on top of it, which is foreign to them, it's not registered with the state, but I created an affidavit to in fact say that James C. Lovett is in fact not a resident of this state. Now, this still means that I can operate the straw man because it is a resident, and the name in all capitalized letters proves that it's a legal entity, a legal person, which is different and opposite than a private person in a given name, so designated by their manuals to say that a legal entity should be depicted by a conspicuous typography or format, which is the all caps. So that being said, I, the living private person, am in fact a non-resident. I have a copy of that notarized in my travel binder. I have my ID with my private name and the name of the trust as identification on my person in my binder. Let's get back to it. So far, we're batting 1,000. Well, show the screen. So we satisfied A. So if you're in Wisconsin, at this point, you should have satisfied 1, A, and B at this point in time. Now let's look at C. The jurisdiction in which the vehicle is registered allows vehicles that are registered in Wisconsin to be operated tax-free. Yes, if I had a vehicle, or my jurisdiction would allow for that vehicle to be taxed if I allowed it upon the highways under conditions substantially as favorable to residents of Wisconsin as to its own residents. So we're good there. D, the vehicle is operated in accordance with the rules adopted by the Secretary based on the gross weight of the vehicle. So you can't have the Batmobile, probably a tank. If you have a four-wheeler, a 4x4 semi, big rig, whatever, you have to be in compliance with them because you're doing damage to the roads. Unless they waive it for you, you have to pay because you're doing commercial activities for profit. The Secretary may determine the gross weight exemption, giving consideration to the reciprocity privileges extended to Wisconsin residents in other jurisdictions. So the Secretary of the State is also somebody who should know about what you're doing. You can send your information to the Secretary of State if you choose. You don't have to. Usually when you send them stuff, they say, oh, this is not for us. But here they just said that they're the people who want to know. But this is only really if you have a wait scenario. So don't bother them unless you have a Batmobile. If you do, send me one, or at least the money to be able to buy my own Batmobile. Thank you in advance. All right. So 1M, foreign owned or operated vehicles entering Wisconsin to have special equipment. So here's the key thing. Special equipment, Batmobile, buy me one, Batman. All right. Or body constructed or installed or for repair shall be exempt from the registration requirements of this section. So notice it said foreign owned. So it just said shall be exempt. Then it says, or operated vehicles entering Wisconsin to have special equipment. So if it's special equipment vehicle, it's exempt. Probably like construction stuff and, whatever. Now let's go to 2. If the owner of any vehicle exempted under 1 or 1M, pay attention. Here's where they try to catch you. Moves to Wisconsin. Now, what do they mean here? Moves to Wisconsin. What they mean here is that if you are going to go to Wisconsin and become a resident, If you register to vote, okay, in their corporation to be one of them. So if that foreign entity, so in other words, let's break it down even more. I don't own the vehicle, the trust does, and it's foreign and private. So if that trust that's private and foreign, I register it to the state, it has moved to Wisconsin or whatever state you live in or whatever. Okay, so keep it private. This is why you compartmentalize. You don't want to expose it. People are like, oh, well, I'm going to put everything in one trust, and then I'm going to get a EIN for it, and then I'm going to do all blah, 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 blah. Well, then you've moved to Wisconsin, and you've exposed it to the public, and now you're going to be subject to what comes next. So it says, or if the vehicle is purchased by or leased to a Wisconsin resident, which means I transfer the vehicle under the strawman name, or I sell it to somebody in Wisconsin, or I let them lease the vehicle, the vehicle immediately becomes subject to the laws of the state providing for the registration of vehicles. You have been brought into their jurisdiction. Then here, history, 1977, some other codes, cross-referencing. That's it. If you are compliant with this information, this should be in your trust. This information should be in the trust. The vehicle should be in there as well. This should also be printed separately. You should know this code or your code or the code. And if you've complied with everything in the videos, you are doing right to travel properly, and you are exempt as a non-resident and or a foreign registered vehicle. You use this information. If you've done everything right and you're bothered, they've got a lawsuit on their hands because you've complied with their codes, and you didn't have to, but you did, which is good. I fully recommend and support that. And this is why you need to go to your state's legislative website and comply. Because now we've cracked the code. This is how you do right to travel. We've come a long way on our channel, and we've come a long way since Jackie Fig brought us all of this information. God rest her soul. On right to travel. Her days, it was simple. You didn't have to know all of this or do all that. Same thing with the passport. You used to be able just to check off one box and be a state citizen. It was on there. But as we move, they move. So my thoughts to you guys, educational information is all this is in the first place. Informational purposes, entertainment, if you shall, is to go right now, look at your state, download that information so you can have it just in case it happens to get changed at some point in the near future. And even if it does, remember, they still have to provide remedy. They do not control the private or the foreign. That is where your remedy always will be. And if you have to deal with them and they've deprived you of your rights, you sue them in federal court. That's it. You think other people haven't won? I've read the cases. People have won. They win more than not, but you're not going to hear about it because they're usually asked to sign a gag order or sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. because they don't want everybody doing this. But the thing that's beneficial for them is not everybody's going to want to do this. Many people like how they operate. I've given this people to lots, or given this information to lots of people, and they're like, oh, you're right. Makes sense. But I kind of like my cage or my world or whatever you want to call it. And there's nothing wrong with that. This information is for everybody, but it's not for everybody to utilize if you don't want to. No one's forcing you. You don't have to do all of these things or anything on my channel or anybody's channel in order to be free. It starts with you understanding what's going on, and then you live your life. If you want to make certain things of your life free or private or whatever, then you do so. You've always had that ability. You just didn't know how. And they have no legal obligation by their own codes and law to show you how to live privately. If you don't know, it's your fault. It's your problem. Your people failed you. You failed yourself. You didn't look. You didn't look for an answer. You were happy in, you know, the pit of sorrow and doom. So that's it, guys. That's it. This is a huge thing. This is the last piece that we needed. All the T's have been crossed, I's have been dotted. The only other possible thing that we could add to it, which we're looking at, is getting your private name on your passport to legally separate the straw man. Now, we've made videos on that. We're in the works on doing some more things to update that. And when we are 100% successful, we will bring it here and we'll bring it to you first, just like we've done with so many other videos and topics and things. And to all the other people out there who are, you know, providing people a good service, providing quality products at a fair price, thank you for doing a good job to your fellow man, just like we try to do here. So that's it, guys. Go enjoy these last warm days of summer for those people who are in the areas where the country starts to change into the fall, which is also a beautiful thing. But take care of yourselves, take care of each other, because at the end of the day, we're all we got. And if somebody ain't moving right, then tell them to get left. They can get left. So to all the people out there, I wish you nothing but positive energy. Take care. Wolf's out. Go do something fun. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your life. You only get one as far as we know. I think I'm on my third one, though. Whatever. Talk to you guys later.